Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Secrets of the Viz. This month we have a Christmas special on all the Iron Viz entries, and today we have Ashley with us here to talk about the rise and fall of modern pop stars. So over to you, Ashley, to do a short intro.
So I am relatively new to Tableau Public. This is my third viz I've ever published, and the first two were for a school class. I work in Tableau every day for a bank as a business intelligence analyst, and I just recently started getting into it as more of a creative outlet as opposed to the business dashboards I use for work. So yeah, this was kind of entry into more creative visualization.
Yeah, I was gonna say this being your first Iron Viz entry sets a very high bar for you in the coming months.
Uh-huh. I know, I'm trying to think of new ones that I can do to keep the ball rolling.
With this year's theme being entertainment, obviously there's a lot of angles you could possibly have taken. How did you arrive at this idea of doing pop stars?
I wanted to explore this topic in general before the Iron Viz theme was even announced. I'm like a big pop culture person. I love keeping up with reality TV and with music and shows and all that type of thing. So my idea for this actually started with Chapel Roan because she had such a big jump in her career this summer. I realized that I was listening to her whole album and that I knew all of the words to her songs, but I didn't know when the first time that I had heard her music was, and I didn't really know how I knew her so well, but I just knew I did. So it started with I wanted to know what did cause her rise. And then from there, I just kind of tried to think of what other artists do I listen to that I know have also had somewhat of a rise and what caused those rises and were they all the same type of thing. So yeah, I really just went through my Spotify that I listen to and I was like, who is on here?
Yeah, that's really cool because I know your Viz and another Viz by Alyssa. She did one on Chaperone, and it was really nice as well because she had the corkboard with different tidbits of information about her career. And I hate to admit this, but I'm a huge Sabrina Carpenter fan. Listening to her song since Please, Please, Please and Espresso. So I am really intrigued by this Viz that you did because my playlist is obviously a lot of Sabrina as well.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe in next year's Tableau conference, we can round up everyone that listens to these six pop stars and have like a karaoke session or something. I
Right.
think
Oh,
that
I would
that would
love
be
that. Yeah.
sounds good. So let's talk through how you came about the design and where you took inspiration from.
Okay, so here's my viz. I wanted it to be a big emphasis on the pictures of the stars themselves, since that was such a big thing as I went through and picked the 6 ones that were meaningful to me. These bar charts that are around them are actually, yeah, they're daily Spotify streams from January 1st of 2024 to the last week of October of 2024. You can see in most of them, they have a big rise starts at some point. And inside of them are their Spotify popularity scores, the average score for each month. The Spotify popularity score is a internal metric. It's not completely clear how they calculate it, but they do some math on their side to determine between all artists on their platform, how popular are they. So you can see the size of the bubbles also increases from there. From there, I moved down in to the artist by artist section. This is more of a traditional line chart showing a certain amount of time before their specific rise happened, how their, I believe, monthly listeners increased, and then the icons are significant events that I found, just my discretion of what something is considered significant and how that impacted their streams over time. I just went through and pulled out fun metrics that I thought. On each of them, you can see that they each have this highlighted area in the line charts. Down here, I have this section called the reason, based on those notable moments that I called out in the line charts. Like, what was the one notable moment that happened right before the biggest spike to fame happened? So for Chapel Roan, since she was the one who I started this viz based on, I started trying to figure out what her rise to fame was. And it was her appearance on NPR Tiny Desk that actually launched her career, even though she had been opening for Olivia Rodrigo's tour before that happened. And then down here, I have this section called the rundown. This is the last section. I wanted to look at the effect that certain songs on their main pivotal albums have on their popularity. My thought behind this section was actually inspired by Charlie XCX because she had her song Apple go viral on TikTok over the summer. And so I wanted to see how song by song, not necessarily the singles that the artist intended to are the most popular. And then down at the bottom, I have this little wrap up section that's just like, why do certain events impact an artist's popularity? Is it certain timing with the release of music? Is it appearances on talk shows? Is it just completely luck? So yeah, this is Sabrina Carpenter at Coachella. This is a very niche pop culture reference, but I have her saying, "This is the rise and fall of modern pop star. I hope you love it, Tableau Public." That is in reference to when she released Espresso at Coachella. So very specific moment there, but that's what I ended it with.
I can relate to that moment because there's
I was
so
really
many
hoping
times.
people would get it.
Yeah, I think for her it's really the Coachella moment
Yeah.
that kind of propelled her to fame. And
Mhm.
she has actually been in the music industry for quite a while. Funny thing, I actually found out that she was in a very old music video, the kids song on Gummy Bear.
Oh, yes,
So
I saw that too.
yeah, so she was actually the main dancer of that music video, and it
Yeah.
shocked me that how far she has gone from that to being one of the biggest pop stars in recent years.
Oh, yeah, I would say that too. Yeah, it's surprising how long they can all be around before one thing just clicks to make them like launch into stardom.
It's the same with Tableau Public and I Am This. I think a lot of folks see the end result of and it's
Mhm.
like, oh, all these beautiful entries and all, but in actual fact, there's so many years of training and knowledge that goes behind all of these entries. So I gotta ask,
Uh-huh.
all of these illustrations, especially for this dot plot, where you have like icons for each of the pop stars. You have Sabrina with the lipstick, Gracie with the love letter. I would assume that relates to their most popular song.
Right. It's mostly songs that are typically associated with that artist. So the pink cowboy hat for Chapel is for Pink Pony Club. Yeah, Apple for Apple. This jersey is a jersey that Tate McRae wears at her concerts on her tour. It's like a common costume that she wears. The butterfly is strongly associated with Olivia Rodrigo's previous albums. So I did try to make them song based, but for ones that didn't necessarily have like strong icons that could be associated with the song, it was just more of the artist in general.
That sounds good. So
Mhm.
assume that you drew all of these icons, right?
I did, yes. So actually, fun thing about this dashboard, every illustration that's in here, I drew all of them. So the ones of the artists and also these ones, even though they look like pictures, I actually drew those on my iPad.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because in college, I was a computer science major, and then I kind of fell into business intelligence after I graduated. And I think it's like the reason I've loved it so much is because I do a lot of art on the side. And I think that it's been a really great way to combine the tech and the art background.
I think you have a very strong skill set with illustration. And to be honest, when I first saw this top viz, I thought it was like a photo, but then
Yeah.
you had this line right at the bottom saying that the photorealistic illustrations are digitally painted by you. And I was like, wow, that looks
Yeah.
exactly like a photograph.
Thank you. Yeah, that was actually advice from my coworker, Kevin Wee. He told me that I should put that line in there because he was like, no one's going to know that those aren't
Yeah.
pictures.
But this is really amazing.
Thank
Amazing work.
you.
So tell us about the chart choices that you have.
Yeah. For this section, I'm glad that this is brought up because I said before I'm new to Tableau Public. I was not aware of the inspiration section of Tableau Public. So I did pull inspiration from this and I want to give those people a shout out. These two radial parts of this screen in particular were from tutorials by Tuong Huan and Andy Kriebel. Both of them had really good radial tutorials that I followed and then slightly adjusted to fit this data. So I wanted to call that one out. But my reason for having it be like circular was that I really wanted to, for this main section, the actual picture of the pop star themselves to be front and center. I really wanted to highlight who this was about. And also, to me, there seems to be a lot of circular elements in music, like a record or a CD or something like that.
Yeah, that's really cool because even with this design, usually what I do with complex charts like this is that I'll take a couple of step backs and I'll squint my eyes and see if I can still read the chart.
Mhm.
And for this one that you have, it's still very readable. So I think this is a great chart choice.
Thank
You
you.
nailed that
Mhm.
centerpiece of your Iron Viz entry.
Mhm.
So we take a look at the next section. Again, your illustrations is off the roof. These are really great. And I love how you have individual colors assigned to each of the artists, and it makes
Mhm.
it very easy to go from left to right. We have
Mhm.
the just snippet of the fun facts, which I think was a really nice touch to the data storytelling of it, because you are able to have one liner of how that artist actually went to fame. I love that you have annotations on the line charts to highlight the key moments of why they actually became famous. Was line charts your very first choice when you were thinking about this section?
So yeah, it was my first choice. For me, I wanted to show that the change in popularity was very rapid, because even with artists who started off at higher popularity, like Olivia Rodrigo, she still did have a really big spike here comparatively to her past popularity. So I thought that line chart would be the best way to show how dramatic of a change they can go through in a shorter period of time.
That's a good reason, and I think it worked really well.
Thank you.
So in terms of data, how did you go around getting all the data for this?
Yeah, I found this really great website. It's called songstats.com, and it has tons of data on the Spotify streams and the popularity of specific artists and songs. And you have the ability to download them into CSVs, which is really nice. So I went through artist by artist. I actually downloaded significantly more data than's currently in the dashboard because I didn't know what direction I was going to take with the story. So it also has data on the amount of Instagram and TikTok followers that artist had. Another route that I was tempted to take was it had data on the amount of TikToks that used a certain song by that artist. So I went through and I had to individually download all of the CSVs, but then I wrote a Python script that just concatenated them together. From there, I edited it to only be like 2023 and beyond.
Well, that's really cool. I never knew that there were such robust data sets around music. I mean, when I think of music, it's probably a Spotify API, but
Mhm.
I'm happy that there are more avenues that people can explore. I think the TikTok angle is pretty unique.
Mhm.
I don't think anyone has done something like that along that angle. So
Mhm.
maybe that's a future idea for you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I initially also was playing around with the Spotify API, but it didn't seem like it was quite as robust enough as the idea I had for the concept of this dashboard was. It seemed like it was a lot of very personalized data, which is very cool as well, but I wanted like big picture overall, how many total streams did this artist have?
Sounds good.
Mhm.
So I think we have everything we need from your Viz. Again, this is amazing entry. Hopefully you get into top 10, because I think this is quite worthy of top 10.
Oh, thank you
But
so much.
yeah, but the judges won't have a good time this year because there are a lot of great entries.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I was
so
looking through. There are some like really amazing ones.
there are. So thank you for spending time with us today to talk through this Viz. I hope everyone learned something from this, and we'll see you at the next one. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.